Well, are you saying it's still broken, or is it better now? I mean, you probably couldn't even witness my most exciting um little monologue on chocolate and how I feel about it then. I mean, I'm aware that some people like dark chocolates. But personally, I do not. You know, there is this, like, maybe this is some kind of therapied trauma I'm carrying with me, but there is nothing worse somebody can say about sweets or confectionery than the maybe at first glance innocuous saying, but actually truly just wantonly evil saying that so and so is not too sweet. Like, that is pretty much the definition of pure lunacy. To claim that something is not too sweet, like nothing is ever too sweet. Who are you even saying that such a thing exists? So that basically sums up my little discourse on everything I hate about chocolate and people who eat it. I mean, all I'm saying is I have never encountered a food that I found too sweet. Until I do, I will continue to say that such a thing does not exist. I have tried American candy. I didn't think it was too sweet. I thought it just tasted very artificial, which is something quite different. I mean, I've tried Twizzlers. They don't even taste sweet. They just taste like plastic. Thank you, I take that as a compliment, Ankatron. I mean, my palate is still very young. I mean, this obviously has to be a compliment, right? At least I cannot see anything but that in it. I mean, to be fair, canned tuna does not taste as good as non-canned tuna. Like, if you go to a restaurant and you order tuna, and it's not like I don't know, a ramen shop, the tuna is not supposed to be canned tuna. And non-canned tuna actually tastes quite good. I mean, canned tuna tastes, I would say. Like, just leave it at that. Canned tuna has a taste. But non-canned tuna really tastes good. Swordfish. You know, I have tried Swordfish, and even though it's a very sexy looking fish, it's not exactly the greatest tasting fish. I am aware of that, but when you do it yourself, I mean, I suppose that, or I think that the secret to having like a good tasting tuna is to some extent the texture, and apparently you're supposed to not overcook it. Like, tuna steak has to, apparently, in order to taste good, still be somewhat uncooked in the center, which is not the easiest way to accomplish when you're cooking it yourself. Salmon and scallops all day. That's an interesting food choice. Anyway, I'm trying to set up for the bottoms whale fight. Tuna steak is not fatty, no. Tuna, I mean, there are sections of the tuna that are fatty. You can get like fatty tuna sushi as well. Like in Japan they have, I think, 3 different tuna grades, and strangely enough, the fatty portion is like what they regard as the highest quality tuna. But if you're not in Japan, what you get when you order like tuna sushi, like the nigiri and the maki, you usually only get the basically no fat tuna slices. A bagel? How do you even make a bagel? That is fascinating. I think I never made a bagel myself. What do you put on the bagel after you've toasted it? Like something fancy, like cream cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, quinoa, pumpkin seeds, spinach, eggs, bacon, I mean, all of that sounds quite terrible, to be honest. I should probably stop giving you suggestions. Nutella. I don't even know for how long I haven't had Nutella, but I heard they changed the recipe at some point, and I believe that was not for the better. I wonder how this goes. Yeah, I mean, Nutella is just basically nothing but sugar. And I must say I'm not too fond of that. But even then, even if you discard the sugar thing, it's essentially a hazelnut paste. And hazelnuts are one of my lesser favorite nuts. Well, I'm glad you like that I'm breathing. Is it even that close to my nose? You know, I think the issue is that I'm basically all year round slightly, now what's the right term for this? Nose constipated? I have like a pseudo cold pretty much every time it's not summer. So, maybe it's an allergy, could be. It's probably some kind of leaf allergy that just about anybody has anyway. Congested, but constipated just sounds so much nicer. I mean, technically, after you've been born, you are about to die at some point. So basically, being born means you're already dying. Because dying just means you are eventually going to be dead, right? So, I mean, you can say anybody is already dying. I don't think there is a clear cutoff for when you can say someone is dying. I mean, does dying mean they have to die in like the next couple of minutes? Months, weeks, decades, centuries? Where even is the cutoff? I mean, let's just say everyone is dying. I mean, now that you mention it, in German, if you translate the way to say that your nose is congested into English, then yes, it actually does translate literally to your nose is constipated. It's the same word we use to talk about like bowel constipation. You know, in fact, there are quite a few interesting like one of the things I sometimes get a genuine laugh out is trying to translate certain expressions literally from one language to another. Like it's just sometimes such a fun little enjoyment of mine. Like did you know, I mean, maybe that's just too infantile. Let's look for another example. Let me think. Is masturbation too infantile? Because there is a German, very peculiar, interesting, fun expression which has led to quite a great many misunderstandings for every innocent lad when growing up. So like in German there's an expression for jerking off, and it literally translates into English as like to let me rephrase that. Like, imagine you are sitting at a breakfast table and you don't have a plate yet, and your friend's mother is asking you if she could get you a plate because you want to have breakfast. And then she has the breakfast plates high up in the cupboard, and she would like to get you a plate up from that high cupboard, so she could ask you if she could get you a plate down from the cupboard, right? Also, this restore material is garbage. I already have a couple of them. So if you translate that into German, and maybe then try Google Translate back into English, you would basically end up with her asking if she can jerk you off. Because basically, like asking somebody to like get you something down, like that is a colloquial term in German for jerk off. Isn't that a most fascinating piece of trivia you just learned right now? Let's call it language trivia. That just coincidentally also is some kind of masturbation expression trivia. How is that connected? You have learned that in the German language, the colloquial term for masturbate has a very non-sexual meaning. Why did it have to include someone's mother? Because I wanted to be colorful. Like, I am a storyteller. I'm not a definition teller. My setups and scenarios have to be adventurous and colorful and, you know, mystical. I don't know that. I never heard about that. But I guess this is not sufficiently sophisticated, is it? Did I even save my game right now? I forgot. I probably did not, did I? Can someone say if I saved? Because if I mess this up, I might want to reload. I did not, okay. That's exactly what I thought. Well, as I was saying, the funny thing is that this term for jerking off can also be used in just very colloquial conversations, and it's like a double entendre. So, somebody could ask you, like, can I get you something and so and on down? And you know, that could just refer to, like, can I get you a plate out of the cupboard? But it could also mean, like, can I jerk you off? And it's such an interesting, cute little double meaning. It helps you be less depressed on a daily basis to know that we have this cute little double meanings in language. And also, this is not going any way, even close to the way this should be going. This is like the new boss fight, it seems. Like, this is harder than it should be. This is like too hard. This, like, why is this so hard? I don't know. You know, on the other hand, there are some expressions that when you translate them literally are the same in both languages, or in some languages. Like, for instance, apple juice, when you translate the German expression for apple juice literally into English, it still is apple juice, so isn't that kind of disappointing? I mean, the fun is not had all the time, is not to be had all the time. Apple juice is no source of fun with languages, I'm afraid. I mean, tail is... that's just... I don't know. There isn't so much of excitement about that. That's like kind of too obvious. Like, there isn't any kind of, you know, there's not enough unboxing with tail. Spank the monkey. That's really an expression people use. Like, I heard of that before, but it just seems too ridiculous, like too outlandish to even be used. People say that, like, unironically, I mean, these days, I could think of spanking the monkey in like a literal sense, and I could imagine that some people are into that. I'm sure the vegans won't like it though. I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that it can mean to kill someone or to jerk someone off. I mean, I'm not sure if this is true because I never had to use these words in the French language, but I keep hearing that in French, orgasm means la petite mort, which means the little death. So apparently in some languages, masturbation and murder aren't even that far apart from each other. Cloud needs to take his drugs, which he clearly hasn't been doing recently. You know, all of these three-term expressions are kind of predictable. It's always action, definite article, and some kind of noun, like vacuum clean the witch. Is that also a synonym for masturbation? Like Bob the Bishop? Can I just, in the same sense, say that I'm vacuum cleaning the witch? I find my suggestion much more colorful. Also, I'm quite astonished to learn. Recently, I opened my window like a couple of days ago, and to my great displeasure, I realized that in this country I dwell in, some things still have not outlawed, whereas other things are still illegal. And, like, how is it possible that out of all the terrible things that you could imagine, something as really downright violently evil as leaf blowing is still not illegal? Like, there's pretty much nothing worse I can imagine that could happening if I open the window than somebody having a leaf blower and making this truly just torturous noise. Like, how has that not been outlawed yet? You know, I heard that actually some places have outlawed them. What other things do I wish were outlawed? Well, that's a good question. So, I mean, next to my top priority, which would be outlawing leaf blowers, let's see. I mean, that's a very interesting question. I mean, I have a few things that I wouldn't mind banning, but I mean, I have to probably put them into perspective and like realize my own petty ridiculousnesses. Would I outlaw dark chocolates? Why would I do that? I mean, I know I don't like it, but so like, what's the point of outlawing it then, just because I don't like it? I mean, unlike leaf blowers, like they physically impact other people. Like their noise pollution is it's not just a little bit. It's really truly just pointlessly annoying. So I mean, it's on a completely different level. What else? You know, I'm also not too fond of sandals, but like I also don't really see how sandals impact me myself, so I don't think I should outlaw sandals. But I mean, that's a good question. I'm gonna think about what other things are so terrible that they deserve to be banned. You know what I also really think should be banned? This is not working the way it should be working, I think. No, this didn't work. Let's redo that. You know, I also dislike being talked to in person, in public, by just about any stranger, and mostly strangers that really do not care about your personal social boundaries. Are like people who want to sell you something, or people who want to like sign you up for some kind of shitty charity shit. Like, I don't even know what their job title is, but these people who like talk to you in pedestrian footpath zones and want you to sign something or like make a donation or something, they are basically personified leaf blowers. I mean, the kind of business model that is contingent upon just talking to random strangers on the streets, this is really terrible. I cannot see how that has not been outlawed yet. It's just a terrible idea. I mean, maybe they say that to you, but where I live, they are kind of even more upfront. They cut the small talk, and they just ask you cheesy questions about whether you like morals or whether you want to help someone. And you know, you can have various responses. Like you can not even have eye contact and then just leave, or you can say that you're in a hurry or something. Or you can I think this is good enough. Or you can say that you are a morally corrupt person, or a Satanist, or that you want everyone to die or something, and maybe they will get the idea and just stop bothering you. But, I mean, even then you have to be, like, creative and think of something. You can't just say, I want you dead all the time they ask you. You have to, like, switch it up. So you have to, like, say, I dislike humanity. Then the next time you have to say something else, because otherwise it gets boring, and you don't want to bore them with the same responses all the time. Because that would be impolite. You've been asked if you are Jewish. What does that have to do with anything? So, let's see. I would say I have two things I'd like to see outlawed. Number one would be leaf blowers. Number two would be street, I don't even know what to call this, street activism. Like, people from some kind of a non-governmental organization trying to talk to you, to sign you up to something, or to request a donation. Basically street beggars. You didn't die while toasting your bagel, that's good. Have you already eaten your bagel? Was it good? Really? I mean, isn't that a quite limited approach though? So I guess their business model is talking to Jewish people about some Jewish issues. But I mean, if you're not Jewish, then don't they already lose you with the first question? You know, one time I had somebody come up to me while I was walking the street, and he was asking for a donation for like war memorial maintenance and stuff. And I mean, I don't want to be rude or like unappreciative of war memorials, but to be honest, on my list of things I would donate money to, I would say that the maintenance and well, care for war memorials is not really at the top of my priority list. I mean, also the worst part usually is that they ask you if you have cash, and you always have to say, no, I don't have cash, because otherwise if you say that you have cash, you would kind of have to say that you don't want to give it to them, which is really awkward, so I mean, more or less the only reason why anybody even talks to you at all in public is because they want money from you. I believe that like, so far, and no one has ever talked to me in, like, the streets, in public, without wanting some money from me. Like, that is probably a kind of sad realization, but it's not like they ever want to give me money. It's just a one-way street. you get asked for their... Well, to be fair, that has happened to me as well, but that's not very common. But I would probably still count that as asking for money. It's really a shame I cannot sell these ethers, because I would really quite make use of them. I mean, aren't just most people scammers in general? Regardless of whether they work for war memorials or not. So how do I want to buy the... I mean, I kind of want to buy Seal, but more importantly I want to buy Revive. But I am severely lacking in the money department, which is even intensified by the fact that I cannot sell ethers. Has anybody talked to Sega Chief about that yet? I mean, this mod, even though I did not choose the poverty option in this randomizer, it feels once more distinctively poverty-like again. I don't know how this happens, but every time I play one of Sega Chief's mods, I feel like... I mean, I'm not saying he's doing this intentionally, but maybe I'm just playing the game incorrectly. But every time I play this game, it seems like there is something going on with my guild that's not enough. Should I buy the... Should I sell the fairy ring? Because my white arm only gives me 1 gil. Like, that's not a good bargain, is it? In all seriousness, I think the fairy wing is the most useless out of the things I have. So I suppose I could sell that. I think I have to come back later, maybe when I have found more stuff that I could sell. I wonder if this is another enemy skill materia or something else. Oh, well, this certainly is not enemy skill materia. Okay. What the actual fuck? Are you kidding me? Like, can I exchange that soon to like... Are you sure this is how this works? I mean, I know you can only exchange this on disc 2, like late game, but still, this would mean I wouldn't even have to fight Ruby Weapon, would I, to get a gold chocobo? Also, this is like my second, if not even third nail bat I found so far. Like, what's with all these nail bats? Yeah, unfortunately you cannot actually exchange the items, the Desert Rose, the guidebook, and the Earth Harp until... I'm not quite sure at which point you can exchange them, but... It is quite late disc 2. I think it's not even as soon as you get the Highwind, but quite a bit later. So it's certainly not right now, I cannot exchange them yet, but that's alright. Yeah, the Desert Rose gives you the gold chocobo exactly. But, I mean, you cannot even have chocobo stables yet, so... You cannot make use of this right now in any way whatsoever. Unfortunately. I don't quite remember, I mean... I don't quite remember what the point is when you can exchange the items. Does anyone even care about silver glasses? I mean, who cares about darkness anyway? I think this is not really useful. So I can go back and buy this heal materia now, I think. Oh look, there's more items. Maybe I get something in... Oh, what the fuck? Like, this randomizer is like ridiculously random. Like, okay. I mean, I can't really make use of these items right now, but still. This is just so amusing to see. Yeah, maybe it's when you have Cloud back from after the live stream, after you fight Ultimate Weapon in Medial. That would probably make sense. Plot-wise. I mean, Cosmo Memory isn't even something that is so hard to get, because normally you get it when you fight Lost Number. Lost Number, the enemy normally drops the item Cosmo Memory, so... It's not something that is a very late game item. But it's still interesting that you get it so early with this. Also, it's not really a very useful limit break in this mod, because limit breaks are randomized, so I already have some more interesting limit breaks. I mean, Red 13's level 1-2 limit break is literally Omnislash. I don't even see how Cosmo Memory is gonna help me any more than that. It can only be a step down from Omnislash, so the item Cosmo Memory by this point is pretty much useless. I mean, the thing that the limit breaks that you learn work in this randomizer is that the level 4 limit breaks, they are not changed, I think. The only thing that is changed is, I think, the level 1, 2, 3 limit breaks. So these items that teach you limit breaks, they are still the same. Also, I'm not quite sure what price I should get. Like, I'm not quite sure what I should try to be getting. It seems to me that this might not be changed. I believe that the prices I get here might be unchanged, non-random from what they are in the original game. Well, never mind. This definitely is changed then. And this price, I think, severely sucks. So let's try do-over. Yeah, unfortunately my game just happened to crash right as I got the guard source. So I have to do this again, and this time avoid getting the guard source. You know, what a shame that I cannot get the mighty guard source now. The future of this isolation period? Well, one of my plans is to actually leave my house again. I think that would be an interesting idea. I haven't actually left this abode that I reside in since last Sunday, so like almost 8 days ago. Well, you know, I have these weird, strange hallucinations that the outside world might be fun actually from time to time. And I feel like I have to test them to see if there's any truth to that. There might be. I know outside is dangerous. I mean, The many dangers of the outside worlds are truly quite manifold. Fire, wow. This party is lit now or what? Oh hey, a holy avatar. You know, the sad part is that there's not only sexy women outside, there is also non-sexy women outside. There is non-sexy non-women, sexy non-women, and also non-monsters. I must say though, I've yet to encounter a sexy monster. Hey Juanito, I am doing quite good, how are you? A zombie virus? I mean, I kind of think that's a very appealing thought. Zombie virus sounds sexy, like... I mean, it's to be fair, it's not quite vampire virus, which I would say sounds even sexier. But zombie virus still is quite okay, I would say. This is my second contain materia. Like, what the fuck is even going on? I mean, I'm kind of glad myself that I've decided to have this cozy little stream again. Oh hey, thank you, Holy Avatar. Yes, you can basically set and configure the randomizer to your own liking. And I made it so that all the materia works the same, just where you get it is different. I mean, what would it even mean to be a zombie anyway? I mean, zombie is a fairly vague term. It's like, it's basically mythological. How are you supposed to even interpret a zombie? Who's tired at noon? Are you saying I'm tired at noon? Because I get the impression that that's what you might be saying. Because maybe of the way I make these tired sounds, like yawning and I don't know. Then again, I don't even remember when I woke up. Like several days ago or something. Well, that's a very strange way to flex. Back in the old days, like flexing didn't have that many variables. You couldn't just flex with just about anything. But these days, apparently you can. I feel like I might want to save again. Yeah, people have called me elusive. I mean, I guess that there are times when I don't stream so much. Like, those times are basically all the time. Well, I think hide and seek is a very fun game that people don't play often enough. I would say you should. I would recommend this randomizer, it's quite fun. Absolutely. "37 months, that's quite a while. I mean, to believe that I at some point actually streamed for 37 months. I mean, not consecutively, but still overall. That's... I don't even know what I was streaming for like 37 months in the past. I have no idea. I see. I mean, to be fair, I have streamed some other things outside of Final Fantasy. Don't forget the amazing cookie clicker speedruns even that I used to do. And I also streamed some Goat Simulator. Did I actually stream Roller Coaster Tycoon? I don't remember that. That sounds more like it. Yeah, Roller Coaster Tycoon, are you familiar with the game? It's a fun little genocide simulator. I mean, I don't think yawning is a sign of being tired. I mean, I yawn all the time these days. Isn't yawning also just a way for your body to increase your oxygen intake? Which I think is generally not a bad idea. Well, the issue with not sleeping for extended periods of time is that apparently these bouts of not sleeping eventually become fatal, and I kind of wouldn't want that. I'm not really sure how exactly you die from not sleeping, but apparently you die from not sleeping. And I don't really care enough to find out how that happens, how that works. What the fuck? Like, oh, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? Stop Mono, that's a wonderful name. It seems like this didn't go too well. There's an anime called Hengoku no Schwester. That's interesting. The kindest monthly debtors. Maybe I should return to them. Things are not going as great as I hoped they would. You know, I didn't even know you were such an anime connoisseur. I also don't really know how to address you now that you changed your name. Oh, I see. Alright then. Oh, I just realized I have the Typhon materia. Interesting. Maybe that will help. Unfortunately, I think I cannot afford summoning it either. It's probably even more. No, it's less than the meteorites, but still not much. 160. That is more than I have. I mean, but he could try it. If the enemy doesn't have gore or some really messed up stuff, you don't like to watch it. That's an interesting criterion by which to choose your preferred anime. I wonder if I have something like that as well. Like a required condition for me to find certain anime interesting / watchable. Yes, Diablo. I think there are restrictions. I don't think for this particular case though. There are restrictions as to the enemies more so than other things. Like, there are logic bounds as to make it impossible for the early game to be too hard. Slice of life or sports anime. I am learning so much right now. I don't know what slice of life is, and I don't know what sports anime are either. You don't like the comic book style of manga? The aspects of everyday life. Oh nice, I finally got Chocomog. I mean, what even are the aspects of life? Like, that sounds extremely vague. That could mean anything. Kiss Axis. That sounds like some kind of weird, I don't know, lesbian porn section title. No offense. Speaking of which, I heard that apparently there isn't really much porn catered to lesbian audiences, which apparently is why they usually procure gay porn, and that's basically just what they have to do. I mean, at least that's what somebody told me. Not that I would really know. I wonder if there's truth to that or not. Any truth to that? I mean, to be fair, I hear a lot of things. I have really good ears. I mean, I usually hear with my ears, not my eyes. Who do they give gay porn to? Well, from what I heard, lesbians is who they give gay porn to. Because there isn't really much of a lesbian porn industry, from what I heard. Like, apparently there's no market for that. So if you're a lesbian and if you're into porn, you have to, from what I heard at least, you have to like make do with gay porn. I am trying to nonchalantly slash not noticeably eat certain weird things. Well, I mean like porn that is actually made for lesbians, not porn that involves some man's fantasy of lesbians. What is the difference? Well, I'm sure there is a difference because, well, I mean you could probably ask the same. What's the difference between like, you know, let me put it like this. There is a difference between like what wealth is and what like a poor person thinks wealth looks like. You could probably say the same about lesbian porn. I mean, you're right, Fine Lines, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that what people regard as lesbian porn isn't actually lesbian porn. It's probably just porn made for straight people, like straight men, who fantasize about lesbians, but that kind of porn is not actually catered for lesbians because they apparently don't like that kind of porn. I mean, all of that you have to take with a grain of salt, because I am obviously not a lesbian, so I really cannot say much on this topic. Maybe you have to produce your own lesbian porn, if it should be authentic. Oh, hey, Cordial. Well, Boko is currently social distancing from my stream. Oh, hey, Dead Goose. Yeah, I know, FF7 is not a very progressive game. It doesn't have social distancing built into it, which I agree is quite sad, but that's life every now and then. So are you saying that Sega Chief is actually working on an FF8 randomizer, or are you just making that up, or assuming he might be? Because I haven't heard anything about that. No, I didn't see the tweet. I didn't even notice that, but that's interesting. Long nails? What does long nails even mean? Like, how long is long? Also, I want to use the in, but I can't find it. I'm getting too distracted by all this lesbian porn conversation. I'm sorry. Well, thanks for the great tip, Punko. Thanks to your help, I was finally able to spot and locate the inn. Yeah, also some people don't have fingers. Just saying. Some people don't even have hands or arms. I mean, how do they even exist? You know, there's nothing more amusing to me than stories of bad relationships from the past. In particular, if they are very colorful. Nothing brings upon me a more genuine chuckle than hearing about the great calamities, such as someone biting off parts of someone else's ear off and being imprisoned for that. That is really just adorable. If only everyday life always had such a immaculate lightness. No. I don't even like it when people go near to my ear. Like, for some reason people think, maybe that's just TMI, but like, who ever thought that ears have any kind of sexual meaning? I don't understand that. There is, I think, a great misunderstanding in people to think that ears are for anything other than maybe earrings and hearing. I don't know. I like my ears dry and clean and perfectly intact, non-chopped off or bitten off, even if only in part. And not everyone has dynamite. I mean, Cloud has dynamite 2 times. She has dynamite. He has not dynamite. So you can see, not everyone has dynamite, if that answers your question. You're bald. I mean, I don't see how having hair impacts your video game playing abilities at all. When you were 10, your mom cut the top of your ear while cutting your hair. That sounds like a horror story. There should have been like a gore alert before you even said that. Also, in case you're wondering, I am gonna claim that I don't actually have the coronavirus. I just haven't really drunk enough, which is why my throat is so dry. And I only sound as if I have the coronavirus. So, just to clarify that. Okay, Stardust. That's cool. I mean, to be fair, I haven't left the house in like 8 days. You cannot just get coronavirus from literally being isolated, can you? Isn't that specifically what you're supposed to be doing to not get the coronavirus? I mean, if this doesn't work, then what the fuck does work? I'm aware of that, but... No, that doesn't happen. Also, wouldn't that be considered... I don't know... creepy? Who does that? Venus Gospel. Okay. I mean, to be fair, this is not a hardcore mod, so enemies are not like hardcore level difficulty. They are, I think, a bit harder because there's an inherent make enemies have higher stats option in the randomizing process. But if you play FF7 casually, this is just how easily enemies die. Yeah, this is an interesting enemy. Lipperkeep. And Patchwolf. Okay. Let's steal some Phoenix Downs. Oh my god, this is Ruby's Tentacle. This is so spooky. Well, considering that this is not a speedrun, what is faster doesn't really matter so much, does it? You know what I learned from the entire Corona situation as well is that I do not think that I will ever have the desire to go on a cruise. Not that I have ever gone on a cruise, but from the way you can be quarantined on a cruise ship, I think that's not fun. So one of the great things this has brought forward in me is the wisdom to probably deem it a bad idea to ever go on a cruise. I mean, apparently some people who go on a cruise, they book a room that doesn't have windows. Like, I don't see the point of that. Like, if you go on a cruise and you cannot afford to rent a room that has windows, maybe you should not go on a cruise. But that to me just really sounds terrible, to be like quarantined on a cruise ship in a windowless cabin. I don't know why you would possibly risk that by booking a cabin that does not have windows. Like, I mean, you kind of saving money in the wrong location. That's the one position you should not be saving money on in a cruise. Yeah, I mean, I get your point, but still, I am not convinced it's a good idea. I mean, also, if you're honest, what even are cruises for anyway? I mean, when I was younger, I thought cruises would be fun because it's essentially just a never-ending, constant, all-around-the-clock, food eating contest with, like, if you go to a cruise, all you really care about is eating endlessly, isn't it? Kind of. I mean, at least that's what I thought it would be. And I still think that's kind of it. You can have that also in a non-cruise situation. You got the animal flu? What's that? Oh, hey Gaza, how are you? Yeah, I mean, I yawn quite a bit these days, but it's not a sign of tiredness. It's just a sign that my body has this voracious hunger for oxygen, I think, which is different than being tired. It certainly sounds more exciting, doesn't it? This is my second fourth bracelet. Isn't there an ether in some of these tents? Where was that? I don't remember. Oh wait, did I already get it? And it was the fourth bracelet? Let's see, I think... Yeah, I think that's it. Well, I'm not an expert, but I think the issue is that even though like the elderly and some other people are the most vulnerable, the issue is that even those who are not part of a risk group can have severe cases. Like, even people who don't have any pre-existing conditions, and who are not old, and who are not overweight or whatever, even if you seem perfectly healthy, a small portion of these healthy people will also have severe cases, and they will probably also die from it. And because no one is immune to it at this point, if everybody gets it, and even if only a small portion of all the healthy people get these very severe cases, they will probably still lead to an overburdening of the health system, which some politicians don't really want to deal with. So I guess they just think it's safer to try to not have that happen, because, I don't know, probably people might not like that. I must make sure to leave 3000 gil so I can afford entry to the gold saucer. I mean, yeah, obviously, if you loosen your restrictions, it's very much imaginable that the situation will be turned and you will have like a second wave of infections that stem from people from other places that do not have it under control yet. Is this a poverty mod too? I mean, intake Xeno Highwinds? Originally, I didn't think so, but the more I play it, the more convinced I am that this too is somehow unintentionally a poverty mod. I still feel like I'm not having enough gil. And, I mean, there could be two explanations. Maybe I'm playing the game incorrectly, or maybe it's truly a poverty mod. And I feel like I have a bias to which explanation I find more credible. I mean, do rich people still have bank accounts? Wow, also, what is this enemy? Yeah, there's an option in the mod to make it a poverty mod, but I specifically, obviously of course, did not check that box. What I'm saying is that this mod somehow inherently just happens to be a poverty mod, even if you don't want it to be a poverty mod. You know, speaking of hobo shoes, a couple of months ago, I was quite shocked to realize that some of my own shoes had unwittingly turned into hobo shoes. Like, did you know that if you wear shoes for like a few years and you don't really pay close attention, they might just fall apart, and at some point, if you don't really pay enough attention, you will have ended up with hobo shoes, which there's only one cure for, which is to set them on fire and bury them somewhere deep in the forest. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what happened. Like, the soles separated from the rest of the shoe. They did not exactly fall off. They just basically became loose, and I had to make the choice to euthanize them. You know, for a while I was walking like around 15 to 20 kilometers a day, because I was of the weird view opinion that that's fun. And of course, the more you walk in shoes, the more wear and tear they experience. I mean, aren't there numbers for cars, for how many miles cars can usually run for before the engine and other parts fall apart? I wonder if there's a metric like that for shoes. Because I think some of my shoes must have traveled, and I'm just kind of vaguely estimating here, like 2,000 kilometers. Which would be like 1,500 miles or so. When you go into the forest, you will find shoes and other items of clothing lying around and on trees. I mean, I don't know what kind of interesting forests you go to, but the forests I go to, they do not have these free giveaways to enjoy yourself. All I find in my forests are people with cars parking on the side of the forest and walking their dogs. People playing tennis in the middle of the streets and stuff like that. I generally find forests too crowded. There's always too many people. Also, I think I should get the early 5,000 points. Actually, I think, is it? Yeah, it's 5,000. The early 5,000 points Sweet Square prize, which means I have to first get some GP, which means I probably have to play this shitty game now. Oh hey Lazy Puka, how are you? I mean, if I look out of the window, I can actually see that the sky is very non-cloudy, unlike my stream. I would prefer it to be the other way around. I prefer cloudy skies. You know, last time I said this to someone in person, they were quite shocked, because apparently it's an unconventional opinion to hold, to say that you like grey skies, which I cannot really understand, because they're pretty. But apparently most people don't like them. Well, I guess there's some truth to that. I mean, sunlight can give you... I know this might sound overly dramatic, but... I mean, sunlight can give you skin cancer. I don't think that lack of sunlight can give you cancer. I mean, I guess there's some truth to that. That if you don't get enough sunlight and you lack vitamin D, that can be an issue. It might be just as problematic as not getting enough sunlight. But then again, isn't that what vitamin D pills are for anyway? I mean, ever since I started taking vitamin D pills, which was like half a year ago, I feel at least 25% less depressed. Oh hey. B12? I mean, isn't B12 the most elusive vitamin? It's so elusive that even if you follow a vegan diet, you have to supplement for it, because apparently it's only realistically in sufficient dosages found in non-plant foods. You know, the funny thing is, I am not vegan, and quite honestly, I don't really have any intentions of becoming vegan anytime soon. But still, I'm always quite amazed by watching into the wondrous world that is YouTube veganism. It's such an interesting community. that every time I feel a bit down, I can cheer up by just watching some interesting insights into this foreign lands. Also, I have not played this minigame in so long. You were eating some jalapeno mac and cheese. To me, that sounds, no offense, terrible. Because it sounds spicy, and I realized a while ago that I don't like anything spicy. Because the taste of spiciness is quite treacherous because it lingers on. Like, if you have a spicy flavor, it doesn't usually go away immediately. Like, it overstays its journey. I don't like that. I like my flavors polite and able to leave very soon after I've had enough of them. I like flavors like civilized guests, always knowing when to leave. Yeah, I mean, the only spice I'm kind of used to is wasabi. And wasabi I can tolerate quite a bit of. But any spice that is not wasabi, I cannot tolerate. Interestingly enough, Um, his materia and equipment was not randomized. That's interesting. You know, I haven't actually played this game in, let me just estimate, a year or so. And now that I'm doing it again, I kind of appreciate the music once more. I actually have several video game soundtracks on my phone because I think it's quite neat to walk to them pointlessly through the city for a few hours. FF7's soundtrack in particular is quite good for that. Nier? You mean Nier Automata? Why do you have that soundtrack? Isn't the game actually still kind of recent? Hey Camrose, how are you? I mean, 3 years is nothing. What can you even do in 3 years? That's absolutely right. I mean, in 3 years, I can, like, what, stream 2 or 3 times? P5, does that stand for Persona 5? I have yet to actually play any Persona game. I have seen some of them, but I never played any. Can you give me a short outline of what the plot is like for the the different Persona games, and don't mind including spoilers? That's perfectly fine with me. Apparently somebody told me that in 2019 I did indeed stream on the 20th of April, aka 420, when I did a short stream to talk about the discovery of the black materia in Icicle Inn and this other thing in the Northern Cave in FF7. But it was a very small, strange, spooky stream. So I can see how you might have missed that. School kids make friends and go to another world where they control personas. So what exactly do you mean by personas? Because the word persona just is a synonym to like role, right? Persona as like, what does persona in Persona in a Persona game mean? Pokemon. So personas are Pokemon. Well, that helps me understand it, of course, much more easily. Did I ever tell you this sad story of mine? I don't remember, but I just remembered that I have this sad story, and I don't even remember if I ever told you this sad story. I could have, because it's really very sad, and it involves Pokemon. But I am not sure, but because I'm probably long overdue in terms of divulging in spooky / sad stories, I should probably just go about and start with this story of mine. One second. So anyway, as I was saying, as I was setting up the stage for the saddest story of probably all of 2020, that you have not heard yet. So when I was a child, this is how all my sad stories begin, by the way. I don't quite remember how old I was, but I think it was in the last millennium, so in the year 1900 circa, 50 or so, um, I was a child, and as a child, I had other child friends who also were children, aka childs. So I, being a child, had multiple child friends who, as I said, were also a child, and it was the time of great tribulations, of great changes, um, of great changes. It was the time of Pokemon, and being a child, I had quite a few Pokemon memorabilia, I guess. Pokemon merchandise. One of those objects that I owned was a truly one-of-a-kind chameleon statue of a size of, let me guess, I don't know, 2 inches maybe? So like a fairly huge chameleon collector's statue. You have heard this story before, so you know the sad, devastating twist that this story will eventually take when I finish telling it. Anyway, I have to include all the details, which is why the story is not really going anywhere yet. Also, I should probably set up Barrett so that he does not die to Dine. Now the question is, do I want to learn the enemy skill laser beforehand or not? Maybe. No. If you think it's the Charizard story, this is another one. This is not the Charizard story. The Charizard story, if I can just paraphrase that quickly and shortly, does involve toilets, doesn't it? That story you probably are referring to. This is a completely different story, even though it's just as sad, if not even sadder than that story. This is the chameleon story. More specifically, the chameleon statue story. Which is a story more so in the realm of crime and misanthropy than toilets. Oh hey Yasmad, how are you? So anyway, I was a child, I had child friends, I owned a rare collector's edition chameleon 2-inch size statue that, interestingly, I don't quite remember where I got it, but I remember it came in like a Pokeball that you could open up. It probably was some kind of candy thing that had like various Pokemon that came with it. So I had this chameleon statue, and I basically, maybe to ostentatiously flexed with it. I guess that's today's vernacular to describe what I did. No, it couldn't have been from Burger King because I was never at Burger King as a child. So my friends might have liked this statue quite a bit as well. Can you see where I'm going with this? Because I want to make sure that you are prepared for the truly spooky twist. I don't want you to be unprepared for what I'm about to say. So, interestingly, I know this sounds like I'm making this up, but this actually is the truth. This collector's edition, invaluable chameleon 2-inch size statue, I was back in the day storing I, I really do not understand why, but for some reason I thought it would be best to keep this statue in a bathroom, um, which is probably the best place to store all your Pokemon memorabilia. And my friends had seen it because it was, I don't even know where it was in the bathroom, but anyway, it was in the bathroom, and this was not falling into the toilet. So this did not happen. The statue was safely tucked away, at least as far as I know, from any falling into the toilet traps. It was perfectly pristine and intact, not getting any kind of toilet water splashed onto it. However, one day, one of my, at that time, friends, and like I think it was two friends who were at my parents' place, and so I was having two friends over that one fateful day, and it seemed like one friend of mine was getting into an argument with me, and somehow on that day he left early, and when he left, it felt all very sudden and kind of not making sense as to why we would have an argument and why he would leave. But anyway, he did, and at first I think my other friends and me didn't really think too much about it. We were just going about our happy little child time play ways, until like half an hour later or so, when I had to go to the bathroom, I discovered in full horror that my invaluable Chameleon Collector's Edition 2-inch size, 2-inch high Pokemon statue was no longer in its designated bathroom place, and it seemed completely gone and untraceable. And as I found out, because the sharp-witted children that we were, deduced quite logically that maybe this other friend of mine, being the gold digger that he was, must have been all along after my invaluable chameleon statue, and we found him outside and actually found the statue in his backpack. And this is the story of how a friend of mine tried to steal my invaluable chameleon Pokemon statue. It was truly a story of broken hearts and ending friendships, and I don't think I've ever spoken to this Pokemon statue thief ever since. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened to that statue after all, because I no longer have it, but I got it back when I was a child. I mean, even though it probably at some point just got lost somewhere in space, in time. At least when it mattered most, I was able to recover it. I mean, to be fair, I'm not sure if that's the lesson you should take away from this. If I had stored it in the kitchen, it probably would have been a possible theft as well. I mean, I guess the lesson is you should not flash your rare Pokemon statues to your friends. Maybe just keep them hidden somewhere. Oh hey Nick Lionheart, how are you? I mean, I don't think you can say that every Pokemon statue or item ends up stolen or in the toilets. Even though that's not the worst conclusion you can take away from this, I would say. A former friend of yours stole your PS2, the bulky one and all. I mean, how do you even go about that? Like, he probably came with like a moving truck to just even move that PS2. Oh hey Fake Man, how are you? I think the names are reused though, because I think I've already encountered enemies that were called Eats. So you got another console out of this? I mean, that is an interesting turn of events. I get the feeling that Sega Chief is really quite fond of the Reno model. Because this is like the 4th enemy that uses this model that I encounter in this mod. Also, I think someone has died. Oh well. Well, see your fine lines. So who even has Mega or Materia? You mean Dine? I mean, Barret might have trash stats, but he has enough MP to cast. He even has enough MP to cast, in theory, a Bahamut Zero. I'm pretty sure that Bahamut Zero one-hit KOs Dine, so I'm good. I don't think I have anything to worry about. I just need to make sure not to die in the first turn, and then everything should be fine. Is that true? Let's check his stats. His attack is not exactly garbage. I mean, his magic attack might be, but I think it doesn't really matter because Bahamut Zero is probably more than strong enough to one-hit KO Dine no matter what. So I am not worried. I mean, currently I'm more worried about not being able to learn the laser enemy skill. Well, that's easy to forget because we haven't actually used Bahamut Zero yet. Because for the longest time we didn't have enough MP to actually afford casting it. But I should be able to actually cast it now, very soon. It costs 180 MP. And if I give Barret more materia, more magic and some materia, his MP is going to increase, which means that I should end up having enough MP to cast it. You know, I think I haven't actually encountered yet the enemy that teaches you laser. The Death Claw. But it should still be here, I just wonder what it looks like. I mean, you can surely do that. It's just that I'm not sure if you want to have that. But you can certainly manipulate or edit the materia data so that, like, Ultima has 4 spells. It's Fire, Lightning 2, Restore, I mean Regen, and I don't know, Ultima maybe? You can very certainly do that. But I guess if you do that, like, the original spells or the original materia are no longer in the game. And I don't really want to do that, at least not right now. I want to keep a certain remnant of what the original game is like.